al-Qaeda hideouts in Lahj province. Houthis announced the death of U.S.-sanctioned military commander Ahmed al-Hamzi. Houthi snipers target populated areas in Tai's governorate and kill one woman. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Inji Zazi. The start is from Lahj province, where government forces have launched a major military operation against the hideouts of al-Qaeda militants. This operation followed the recent terrorist attacks conducted by al-Qaeda against the government forces' sites in the southern provinces. This report has more.
Anti-terrorism forces in Lahj Governorate, southern Yemen, managed to seize one of the most prominent leaders of al-Qaeda in the governorate during a security operation that was carried out inside the city of Al-Hawta, the center of the governorate. The operation against the leader of al-Qaeda in Lahj came a day after the security services announced the implementation of a wide campaign to track down a number of wanted terrorist elements in the districts of Al-Hawta and Tuban. The joint security campaign was launched under the direction of the governor of Lahj and in coordination with the government forces to pursue those wanted by the security forces, outlaws and gangs of smuggling migrants. According to military sources, the forces participating in the campaign the western direction of the coastal strip in Lahj and found weapons depots containing ammunition and missiles. The sources confirmed that the campaign will continue until the liquidation of all smuggling holes and the arrest of those wanted by the security forces. The campaign comes after Lahj witnessed a security breakdown, increase of smuggling, the spread of drugs, road blocking and other acts that undermine security and stability. Smugglers intercept migrants when they reach the coast and then take them to the detention camps where they are financially extorted and sold to gangs who smuggle them inside Yemen territories to border areas with the Gulf states. The United Nations described the migration route from the Horn of Africa to Yemen as the most crowded and dangerous, as human smuggling gangs operate on the banks of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden to delude migrants that they will transfer them to the Gulf states.
The Houthi group announced the death of the so-called commander of its air forces, Ahmed al-Hamzi, sanctioned by the United Nations and the United States. According to the UN reports, al-Hamzi was responsible for carrying out a series of missile attacks against vital civilian and economic targets and committed acts that threaten peace, security and stability in Yemen. This report has more details.
The Houthis announced on Sunday that Ahmed Ali al-Hamzi, commander of the militia's Air Force and Air Defense Force, had died after suffering from illness. The announcement came as local media outlets reported that the Houthis had arranged funeral processions for over 100 fighters killed on the battlefield since the beginning of July. In 2021, the U.S. Department of the Treasurer's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned al-Hamzi for smuggling drones and other weapons from Iran to Yemen and receiving military training in Iran. The U.S. accused the Houthi commander of orchestrating drone and missile strikes against Yemeni civilians, neighboring countries, and commercial ships in international waters. Last year, the UN Security Council also imposed sanctions on al-Hamzi, accusing him of violating the international arms embargo on Yemen by smuggling unmanned aerial vehicles and other weapons into the country, as well as conducting drone attacks in Yemen, cross-border attacks on neighboring countries, and attacks on international ships off the Yemeni coasts. Meanwhile, despite the cessation of hostilities since the beginning of 2022, when the UN brokered ceasefire went into effect, the Houthis buried more than 100 fighters killed in fighting with Yemeni government forces since the beginning of July. Based on Houthi grieving notes on their official media, reported that the Houthis held funerals for 103 warriors between July 1st and August 3rd, increasing the total number of deceased Houthi fighters since the beginning of the year to 4,040. 32 Houthi fighters were buried in Sana'a, followed by 12 in Damar, 10 in Saada, and 10 in Taiz. The remaining Houthi combatants were buried in Amran, Hodeidah, Ib, and other Yemeni provinces.
Yemeni Network for Rights condemned the Houthi militia's laying of mines in roads and public places. The organization denounced Houthi use of camouflaged mines that have left thousands dead and wounded. Massan Project for Demining said Yemen needs more than 10 years to get rid of Houthi mines. The engineering team of the joint forces discovered Houthi minefield and explosive devices in Haiz district. Field sources said that the engineering team discovered the Houthi minefield in the Dami area of the Haiz district during the process of clearing the area of mines and explosive devices. This came after the killing of a child in a Houthi mine explosion in the area. A Houthi sniper killed a 25-year-old citizen near her house in Taiz. The citizen is the mother of 3 children and is the victim number 240 among the victims of the ongoing Houthi sniping crimes against civilians, particularly women and children in the city.
Tasneem was targeted with a Houthi sniper bullet from a hill that is stationed by the terrorist Houthis. There are around 250 victims from Houthi snipers dead or wounded. The medical supplies are rare. Most of the cases died because there were no sufficient first aid. We call upon the government to provide these areas with medical supplies, ambulances and transfusion vehicles.
The Houthi militia dismissed 40 doctors from Al Hazm Governmental Hospital in Al Jawf Governorate after they demanded their salaries. Medical sources said the Houthi militia dismissed approximately 40 doctors after they carried out a strike because of the continued cutting of their salaries for nearly 9 months. The militia replaced the dismissed doctors with members loyal to it who don't have medical qualifications. Local authorities in Ma'rib called on the organizations to focus on food interventions as a priority. This came during a meeting with a representative of Ma'rib Governorate with the humanitarian coordinator in the office of the International Committee of the Red Cross delegation in Yemen. He warned of the dangers of the continued deterioration of the humanitarian situation, which may reach the point of a catastrophe. The Houthi militia is still carrying out many crimes ranging from looting of land and property to raids on homes, companies and residential villages. In Taiz, a Houthi competition has recently emerged over the plundering of lands east of the city. This report has more.
The leaders of the Houthi coup are dismantling a Taiz-based wing of its own. The demolition of a school in the vicinity of Taiz airport revealed a regional power struggle in which wings compete for influence, land, and public and private real estate. Last week, bulldozers pulled up to Al Ta'aziyah district, in which Taiz airport is located, to demolish a school that was built 4 years ago and level it to the ground, claiming that it is located inside the campus of Taiz airport. Bulldozers were escorted by Houthi military vehicles in anticipation of civil opposition. According to sources, this move is a part of the Houthi leaders' attempts in Taiz to regain control over the public and private properties that were taken by Salah Bajash, a leader and Shura Council member who impersonated the governor of Taiz until last April. The sources indicated that the school was established 4 years ago in the name of Abd ar-Rahman Bajash, who died 10 years ago, and is one of the dignitaries of the region and father of the Houthi leader Salah Bajash. The establishment of the school came as a ploy by his son Salah when he was still impersonating the governor of the province. Bajash used the school and the name of his father, who has a high profile in the local community, to win the support of the people of the area and to justify the land grab. Last April, Bajash was removed from his post as governor of Taiz and assigned to the Militia Shura Council, thereby stripping him of the authority he had gained over the years. According to the sources, Bajash's failure to incite regionalism among people after the school demolition was due to his involvement in dubious business dealings, land robbery, and hunting out coup opponents.
Coming next in the news. Years of conflict pushed teachers in Hodeidah into doing other jobs in order to make a living.
اسمي سنة وأنا رسامة من صنعاء. لما بدأت الحرب كان عمري 2 سنين. كنت أخاف أوقات بس الرسم يسعدني. حلمي أن أكون رسامة عالمية. أمنيتي صعود سلم النجاح وأحقق كل أحلامي. أنا سالم من حضرموت وأنا أحب التصوير. لما بدأت الحرب كان عمري 6 سنوات. أحب تصوير كل جميل في بيتي.
Welcome back. Teachers in war-torn Yemen continue to suffer amid suspended salaries for years. This has pushed many of them to seek other jobs as to be able to provide for their families. More on this story is in the following report.
Teachers in Yemen are receiving neglect and denial instead of respect and appreciation. They do not get their salaries for months and they are threatened to lose their jobs any minute and be replaced with healthy affiliates. The teacher Saleh has resorted to the profession of a street vendor selling clothes in search of a living, due to the high cost of living and the absence of salaries that do not allow him to get his household needs.
I haven't received my salary for 4 months now. I've got a family and children that I'm providing for. I kept looking for another job, but I ended up on the streets selling clothes. I am a well-educated person and now I move from one street to another in order to get some money.
The condition of the teacher Saleh is like his colleagues in the liberated areas of Hodeidah, who also suffer from the non-payment of their salaries for over 4 months, in total ignorance of the pain of their hunger and its repercussions on their living condition that pushes the teacher to actions that may not be appropriate to his educational level.
The pension amount that I receive is very low. It's not enough to buy our basic needs and food supplies. Now, we work on the markets to be able to provide for our families. As teachers, we used to be highly valued by our society, but now our role is completely ignored and we are suffering a lot. The government is cutting off our salaries and we are being humiliated. There is absolutely no respect.
For the 3rd year in a row, the teachers of the liberated areas of Hodeidah have made their voices purer in the appeal and demand for the government to pay their salaries regularly with the annual increase, just like their colleagues in the regions and liberated governorates whose allowances have been suspended since the Houthi coup against the state. A tragic situation that has dragged education into a deep void. What will be the future of a generation whose children have become victims of a government that does not care? The teacher's rights are ignored and his ability to shape the future is ignored as well.
Since Houthis seized Sana'a in 2014, they have been tampering with educational curriculums. They have cancelled many topics and substituted them with others that promote their sectarian ideology. This report has more.
As governments and regimes implement a process of comprehensive educational reform, the Houthi militia has developed curricula instilled with sectarian ideals that date back 1400 years. The Houthi militia made changes to the basic stage curricula, which cover subjects like the Holy Quran, Islamic education, Arabic language, history, and national education. These changes included glossing over the September 26 revolution and omitting lessons that discuss Yemeni history, revolution, national holidays, and events, and replacing them with new lessons. The new topics delve into Houthi sectarian history and leaders who perished in conflict. The educational sector has shifted its status from a public one owned by the Yemeni people to a private institution owned by the militia who hijacked the capital. The Houthis have forced people to finance the institution, either by converting the curriculum into a commodity or by imposing what it calls societal contribution. Additionally, they humiliated teachers and made them participate in a system of forced labor, on which the defunct Imam clergy relied to run its operations and impose its authority. Changing curriculum is one of the tactics used by the Houthis since taking control of Sana'a. There are annual summer camps for both boys and girls that incorporate faith education and weapon training. Furthermore, the Houthis use mosque pulpits to preach their ideology. The Houthi curriculum changes have been described as a ticking time bomb that threatens Yemen's future. The Houthis' ideology is fundamentally based on violence and is harmful to the students that consume it. If these areas continue to be under Houthi control, the militia will be able to thoroughly influence the thoughts of the coming generations.
Here is a reminder of the main headlines. Government forces launch major operation against Al-Qaeda hideouts in Lahej province. Houthis announced the death of US-sanctioned military commander Ahmed al-Hamzi. Houthi snipers target populated areas in Taiz governorate and kill one woman. This is the end of the news. It was Angel Dadi. Thank you for watching.